Geeks in Malaysia.
Welcome to another edition of Geeks in Malaysia. I'm Amelie Chen.
I'm Nate Dorian.
And I'm Kyle Limbaha, and I've got balls in my mouth.
Me too.
Yes, we're having a very special edition, a very foodie edition that has nothing to do with the subject matter we're talking about today.
Yep.
Yes.
Welcome to the Geeks in Malaysia mukbang.
Yes.
Nom nom. I am having mashed potatoes and meatballs.
Yes. And Kai is having spag bowl and meatballs.
Yep. We're just hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've just,
Actually, Amelia was the hungriest.
that's why I
but
finished my
she's
food.
finished her food already.
Yeah.
But now she's of better mood because earlier you were hangry.
Yeah. Well, mildly. Mildly.
Mildly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I was going to say something about food, but never mind. I can't remember
what
now.
are you going to say?
I can't remember. I can't remember. Anyway, so today, after all three of us have seen this very special film by a very special filmmaker, this is very different. I don't know why.
No, 'cause you're waiting in between our fucking shoes.
Why is it different?
I don't know.
You're not chewing.
I know. I'm like, yeah. But like, I need to fill time. I'll be able to chew.
No, you can ask us questions while we're chewing. Like, the whole point is that, yeah, we know we're eating.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Elvis.
While
Yes.
eating, which makes sense. We should have gotten some peanut butter burgers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, we should have gotten the Elvis from fucking Burger Lab.
Oh, yeah, they got the fat Elvis. Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
we open at lunch?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a fat Elvis at my Burger Lab. So if you want something after watching your
Like,
film,
not literally a fat Elvis. Like, there isn't like some Vegas guy.
Also, I mean, like, I don't follow Burger Lab, like, their Instagram, but, like, but I don't see any ads or, like, we should have totally done, like, a collab.
Right?
unless
And then
they-
even Pie Thing has a Elvis
Oh,
dessert.
yeah.
Really?
Which is pretty nice. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the
Yeah.
peanut butter and...
Peanut butter and banana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peanut butter banana sandwich, right? I mean, that's the Elvis.
Peanut butter and banana pie.
Yeah, but I mean, the Elvis, like,
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't make a show, like, it didn't show up in the show.
Oh, no, I think that I don't think we needed to see
That. I mean, that
those
wasn't
years of him being depressed and sitting on the toilet.
And there is the crux of
Of
what's
the-
going to be a difference of opinion.
Oh, I knew it. I knew this would be that. You can't have everything in this Elvis film.
Okay.
Why not?
See? All right. No, that is exactly my issue. All right? Like, okay, we're going to kick it off first by saying,
Spoilers.
spoilers,
Duh.
number one. Spoilers on a historical figure, but spoilers nonetheless. But
Surprise,
also,
he dies.
but
Okay. Wow. Someone is going, wow. Okay.
now I forgot my point. Thanks.
If you want to show something, like, you should all do warts and all.
No, okay. So it's you guys obviously when you came out of the cinema because it wasn't the last time we recorded. It was last week,
Yeah.
right?
No, week before, because I wasn't here last
Oh
week.
yeah, because
yeah,
you
yeah.
guys saw it before
Press
it came out.
screening, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just before we were recording the last episode.
Yes.
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 You know, and you were like, it was a good movie.
I mean, okay, because
You enjoyed it?
I have zero. Well, I also have issues.
Yeah.
But like, I have zero context for Elvis. I love him as an icon. Like, I understand him as an icon. Never a big fan. Like, not a big follower. I'm like, Elvis is in the building.
But
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
you came in first, and you were like, I think Nick's gonna need a minute,
Yeah.
right? And then Nick walks in, and Nick, as you've said before, you're a huge Elvis fan, right? And it has emotional significance for you as well.
Yeah.
And, the movie really affected you and you loved it.
Yeah.
Right? Now, my wife,
It's
similar
also,
thing. She's a huge Elvis fan, right? Me, it's a bit hard to be a musician in rock and not know Elvis.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not the world's biggest fan of Elvis. That drip is gonna, like, it's slowly going, I'm gonna go on your table. But, like, look, he's got a bunch of good songs. He's a great performer. So, yeah, like, on the one hand, I do respect him. On the other hand, I also do have my point of view about him.
Yeah.
Right? So, watching the movie, I had, it was this weird, I had a weird feeling leaving of both enjoying it, but also annoyed with it. What's it? Why can't he put that there?
It's going to be very noisy if he keeps taking it to drink.
Because there's no coaster.
Just put it.
Okay.
Okay.
There's so many fucking here. Take a fucking coaster. Jesus Christ, ruin my point a little bit more. Why don't you? I don't remember what the fuck I was gonna say. Fuck you all. There we go. Anyway, what the fuck was I talking about?
I think he wanted more of the.
I wasn't even
Elvis
getting
years.
to that yet. I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to talk first, but you brought up this stupid fucking drink. Fuck it, I'm not talking anymore. You guys talk.
No, no,
Fuck
sorry.
this. I'll chime in when it's my time. Bastards.
No, but so you and Eva, like, this is important to Eva. You, and then like you watch the movie and you don't feel like it fully encompasses like.
Now, I was just gonna say, as I was leaving the movie, I was torn
Okay.
because it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. But it took me and Eva a while after leaving it to think about, okay, what is the thing bugging me? And I'm going to bring that up
Okay.
after you guys talk about what your experiences are. Because you've both finished eating. So fucking continue. I hope you enjoy your coaster.
I do, thanks.
Cox.
I don't know, like, I feel like I really enjoyed the film for what it is. Like, I went in.
I really want to hear, like, why, because, you know, you only talk so much about it because we weren't going to record it.
Yeah.
And also I hadn't seen it. So now that we can openly talk about it, I want to hear exactly where the gushes of love come from.
The gushes of love come from just seeing him on the screen, seeing those moments of his life that you see the successes and the failures as well. Like, of course, we didn't see the later years where he was stuck on a toilet, he was depressed, he was gun happy, the whole Nixon years. I mean, I feel like as an Elvis fan, I'm okay with not seeing that. But I wanted to relive those moments that I couldn't have before. I think also it's the 68 comeback special on the big screen was a big moment for me because I love that special. Seeing the barnyard sequence, especially the hound dog sequence, even though it wasn't the best time of his career, there's still that. So I think it's a lot of these small moments that as an Elvis fan, I didn't get to see growing up that I'm like, holy shit, is this what people must have felt like back in the day? Because
Your mic just cut out.
Yeah, because he touched the green thing. If you'd like to see what's going on,
wait. Am I there now? Okay.
Don't talk to the camera whilst I'm blocking the camera.
What's up? So yeah, I think as an Elvis fan, that's what I appreciated about it. And also the little minor Easter eggs that you have if you knew about an Elvis fan, like things like his mother and his Cadillac, the little pinky. These small little details are what I appreciated for Baz doing.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, generally, as a movie, as a biopic, I mean, again, zero context. I know some of these things. I do not know some of these things. It's nice to see it's nice that, I was telling my friend, it was nice that Baz managed to capture, especially in the beginning, that fervor, that like when, that moment where Tom Hanks sees Elvis for the first time performing and he sees a reaction in the fangirls, like oh my God, like, you know, they're not like that. It's great that Baz managed to capture that rising fervor that girls had. It was great. Don't get some of it, but it's fine. I like the pomp. I liked all the spectacle, all the drama, all the stuff like that. You know, like the Up Yours, and I love fucking Stranger Things in it because, you know, he's amazing. You know, when he's being kind of a normal, nice person.
Yes.
But what I didn't... Do you want me to talk about the good things or also the bad things? What I didn't like what I didn't kind of had a kind of an issue with, but I guess was the way it was framed through Tom Hanks, through the Colonel, which was an interesting choice, and I get it, but also slightly ambivalent. Like even his framing was a bit ambivalent. It wasn't even it was a bit neither here nor there. It was like, because there was also a lack of conviction to Tom Hanks's somehow, because it's almost like Tom Hanks knows he's doing wrong, but he's trying to convince you, but not very convincingly, that he's doing the right thing. I also didn't like the accent.
Yeah.
I hated the accent with a passion.
Okay, tell you what. I'm gonna continue this meatball later. Now you fuck. All right. So, any thoughts on what Amelia said?
I mean, okay, the whole thing about through Colonel Tom Parker's eyes is a choice. It is a choice because every other sort of Elvis biopic, be it the Kurt Russell one, be it the Jonathan Rhys-Meyers one, it's always from Elvis's perspective. So to take it from Tom Parker, which not a lot of people know about Tom Parker's story, unless again you are an Elvis fan. So, I mean,
Tom
did
Parker
you?
is in the Colonel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not know that. Like, you know, like, yeah.
You didn't understand the relationship that the two of them had, which was very fucking toxic.
Well, I mean, you know, like, I wouldn't sure.
You see,
Never
it's,
mind.
It's the thing with.
Wow.
I know. Sorry.
What?
I hit the fucking mic again.
Like-
Next session, you're bringing headphones. I want you to hear what the fuck you do.
Yes, I have headphones at home. It's fine.
Thank you.
No.
No, but bring
No,
it to
bring it
connect
here
to
so
this.
you can hear what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Springs. Jesus.
What the fuck was I saying? Shit.
Yeah, no, the
You were gonna
toxic
say,
relationship.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
the
no, I mean, no, as a performer, yeah, I can absolutely see. Like, I didn't, you know, like from the, like not from the get-go, but from like the first, like once he starts talking, and then once you start, you go like, oh my god, you know where this is going.
Elvis was his greatest freak show ever. That's the thing. It was his moneymaker, and he was going to milk that for every amount that it was worth.
I mean,
But the surprising thing is how often this is not talked about. Like, not a lot of people know this about Elvis's story as well with Tom Parker.
I thought everybody knew about the fucking Colonel.
No, surprisingly not. Eh?
Huh.
But I mean, you know, I'm not a fan. You know what I mean?
That's
I
the
don't-
thing.
I'm not a fan
I don't-
either, but yeah.
But I mean, you're
musician,
yeah.
These look,
You kind of know music
Yeah,
history.
but
The
you
Colonel
know
is
the
a-
Beatles and you know Yoko.
yeah.
Yeah, that's his Yoko. Except he runs his business, which is not a great place
Which is,
for Yoko to be.
which is very, very, which is very, very worse. No, but also the Colonel for a musician is a fucking cautionary fucking tale, right? Like,
No, they just. I think like it sounded like when you were about to talk about the Colonel that characters like the Colonel just exist in the music industry, which is true.
yeah.
And the film
Look at
industry.
K-pop.
There you go.
Yeah. One thing I would have liked to
Joe, I
see a
keep
little
looking at
bit
you.
more though, Sam Phillips. Because I know Sam Phillips was a big part of Elvis's life.
Sam Phillips is the guy, the
Sun Records, yeah. He cut his first record. So I was like, could have seen a bit more of Sam Phillips, you know?
And that's my point. Could have seen a lot more of everything.
Yes, but here's my counter argument.
Go on then.
It's a 2.5 hour film.
And would you like my counter argument?
Yeah.
Ray, get on up. Fucking walk hard. Right? They went through, those movies go through 4 decades of history. And let you see whole performances. All right? That's my issue right there. Number one, you actually have a shorter time span. He lived 40-something years. You have a shorter time span. You got more room to tell story. So you skim over Sam Phillips. You skim over a whole bunch of shit
Yeah.
and add shit. And then Baz. Okay, Baz. Fucking Baz.
Okay.
All right? Look, I get it. He's got a style.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, by the way, not great for IMAX.
So I've heard.
Not great for IMAX because when he starts doing the montages, you just don't know where the fuck to look.
Because
It's moving too fast and it's too big. You're like, where the fuck is Alva? Oh, it's gone.
because Baz didn't make it for IMAX. That's the thing. It's yeah.
Who gives a shit? All right? Because even then,
What?
the point of that is everything's moving too fast. Even the performances are moving too fast. The only performance where I felt like you gave a moment to actually feel the performance was
The first one?
the second half of
The Las Vegas.
yeah.
The Las Vegas
There's one
show.
Las Vegas performance
Yeah.
where they actually let the second half ride and you get to feel that enjoyment. And that's the thing, like for me, number one, music biopic, right? Dude playing it has to inhabit the character. He does. Austin Butler's fucking great.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Like I was
Fucking
worried
Shannara
when I saw the
Chronicles.
trailer.
Right.
But, like you watch it, like no, he inhabits.
Right.
You know, like I'm like, where's the Canadian? I don't see him.
So he is Canadian.
He is Canadian.
Because I'm seeing him doing interviews and I'm like,
What?
brother,
Look for a clip of him in yoga hoses. You'll see how
yeah,
Canadian
yeah.
he can get.
You still have
Now he's still
speaking the
Elvis.
drawl.
Yes.
He has that. I'm like, wait,
Yeah, he's been inhabiting that role for 2 years. It's gonna take a while for him to lose it. But yeah, so you have that. Great. Now the musical performances, right? They're great. They all stop suddenly. The editing fucking pissed us off so bad.
has two editors.
Okay.
Because, okay, that first time when he plays that first concert, where he's following the Hey whatever the fuck festival,
Hey, right.
and all the girls all have that look like, I don't know what's happening
Yes,
in my
yes,
panties.
yes. Which
You know?
which Baz captures. Like,
Yeah,
which
Yeah.
it's a
motherfucker,
great
like, yes.
moment.
Yeah.
And then we get cut off. Is the colonel talking about how I saw my fucking beautiful snow job? Oh, the snow job. Oh, I love this so much.
See? Framing, right? Framing.
And you're just suddenly like, hey, potog steam. Oh, I gotta listen to the fucking colonel in an imaginary Vegas casino
Walking,
that's
shuffling
empty,
around in
talking directly to me
the
while
dressing,
Oh, and then there's so many times where like, music's about to kick in. No. Music's about to kick in. And what the fuck is Elvis if not music first? All right? And so you have that, which was
Okay.
already bugging me. That was
right.
my bad. I just jiggled everything. Then, the story,
Okay.
right? Like I was saying, about 40 years. Again, Get On Up managed to... And I don't think Get On Up is a great movie, right? But it still managed to cover from his childhood. We get to see whole scenes of his childhood, not montages. Whole scenes of his childhood. We see James Brown from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Ray, from childhood
Yeah.
all the way till addiction to getting his lifetime achievement because he was still alive when they made the movie.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible to fit a long story and whole musical pieces to get you to experience everything. Those movies still had to cut out a lot of shit, right? But like you said, Sam Phillips, oh, we're just gonna do a montage. Here he is. Oh, you know Crudup. Record Sun Records. Okay, done.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna lose you, but you know everyone needs to listen to music. Goodbye. In no fucking world does that conversation happen so quickly.
Yeah.
You're just losing your golden egg.
Yeah.
You know.
And it was
You
difficult.
But you take that scene and you take the scene in Ray
Yeah.
where he signs with I think Capitol. I can't remember.
Yes. Yes.
Right? That scene where he's meeting the two guys from Elektra and talking about it. You get the emotional resonance of the thing. You feel how difficult this is. You see you see how they also understand. Right? And it's just a couple minutes more. As opposed to, no, we only have 45 seconds for Sam Phillips to get him out of Sun Records so we can put him into the next record label. The fuck is that? And then, yeah, you say like, okay, no, we don't want to see all the Vegas stuff. Okay, that's just a personal preference for me. Like, I want to see the rise and then I want to see the fall. There was very little fall to show,
Yeah.
you know? But even the stuff from the eras that I do like Elvis. Movie career, montage. And the only time we're going to slow down for a scene is in a fake backlot. Just for this moment where everyone's just hanging out.
Yeah.
The Taking Care of Business crew.
Yeah.
We just get one montage. These are their names. What do they do? Who they are? Who gives a fuck?
No idea. No idea.
Let's carry on.
I have no idea who. I have no idea anyone else's.
was-
Everybody's name. I have no idea.
They were basically his rat pack.
No. Yes, I got that. I got
Well,
that.
you have to piece that together.
like the best friend, whoever that one that was managing him and advising him, like, no, like, you know, you should stop, like, that guy. I don't know his name. He's very integral to the plot. I don't know his name. What is his name? Do you know
Jerry
his name?
Siegel.
There we go.
The relationship with the mom. I thought that would be explored more. Mom was like a montage. I was like, okay, no, they're going to give mom a moment. They're going to have a scene and we're going to really feel, oh, she's dead. Well,
That's your
whoop-de-doo.
moment.
And then you get the guy from The Rake, who's this great Australian actor, to just be the non-dad in the background.
Yeah.
You're like, this reminds me of when I was in Mission Impossible 2 with a fake South African accent just standing there. You know what I mean? Like, you're watching it going, maybe they didn't have time to fit it in, but you're like,
No.
but then other movies matter. What were we seeing? And that's brings me to the crux of the issue and what to me divides it.
Okay.
Baz has a way of not shooting reality.
Yeah.
Everything's a myth,
Yeah.
right? Fair enough. Now, some people would argue like, oh, he did the Get Down, right? And that's about music, and that was very mythic, right? Because the way he shoots like the ghetto and everything, it looks run down, but there's also this
Glorification.
fantasy
Yeah.
glorification quality about it,
Yeah.
right? But my argument with the Get Down is the only person that's real there is Grandmaster Flash. They're a fictional group.
Yeah.
In a fictional world inspired by the people that started it. So it's got this fancy element. I'll buy it. This is Elvis,
Yeah.
right? Elvis is a myth. He always has been.
He's a legend.
You know? He's one of those guys, if you're starting an American restaurant, you need a photo of him, James Dean, Marilyn Monroe, Humphrey Bogart, and Frank Sinatra.
JFK?
What?
Too soon?
Some people. What?
But yeah. So it's the mythic thing that to
Lee
me was
Harvey
like,
Oswald. No.
the myth would have been fine if it brought it back to reality for like later on, which it only does in the last fucking scene. You know what I mean? So the myth, like, when you see the myth of him living in a poor neighborhood amongst black people,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, wow, this is a beautiful shantytown. You know what I mean?
Dressed up, so
Like,
curated.
Look at how it's just planned out.
That,
And
that
then
really
the-
pristine wooden plank.
right?
That
And then the tent revivalist church.
Yeah.
Like, how everything's laid out, like the tent revivalist church looks like a carnival.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, for a poor white boy living amongst the black folk back then, sure was clean. You know? And it's that. It's all these little mythic things where I get it because you're creating the feeling. Like, on the one hand, I get it because, like, you watch it. Like, if you never really known about Elvis, you get a sense of that larger than lifeness and mythicness about it.
Yeah.
Right? But also, to me, I'm like, he's already a myth. There's so many things I wanted to know and I wanted to hear
about the real man.
that I didn't get to. You know, because to me, the line in the entire movie that I can relate to the most
Yeah.
is at that ending scene. Mostly because of shit that I'm going through. But that moment when he says, like, I ain't got no more dreams. Like, to me, that's a real moment. And it's just at the end. I'm not saying I wanted to see him fat and dead over a toilet after eating a peanut butter burger.
Yeah.
But it's skimmed over. All these things are skimmed over. Like, no, you shouldn't know about these things. We want you to believe in the myth. And that I can't agree with.
Okay. Here.
Like, all these musicians are myths and legends,
yeah.
right? You go to see the biopic to find out what happened, who they are. And it's just like, here are the beats that we need to hit. Colonel doing this, Colonel doing that, him going here, him going there. So the points are all there. But, yeah, and then, like, for someone like Eva, who's a hardcore fan, there are certain things that the mythicness also got in the way because of details. Right? Like the one where he sings Trouble,
Yeah.
which he hadn't wrote then.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, obviously they wanted a scene where Elvis fights back at the police and then gets dragged away. But it's like,
Tapi timeline
Jim Morrison
dia,
has a moment like this, and it's real. Elvis's moment, like, he played those songs and then he got into trouble after it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's stuff like that where you're like, and then the way you introduce Priscilla. I was like, that introduction's the only real scene she has.
Yeah.
And it's such a weird scene, like, and then he met the colonel's daughter and blah blah blah, and she was just a teenager, and then she's just talking like some hipster chick, and I'm like, why is Elvis into this shit? And next scene, they're married,
Yeah.
and we will skim over the fact that when he met her and was courting her, she was just as underage as Jerry Lee Lewis's cousin.
Yeah.
Let's just skip
Yeah.
over that because we want to create the myth. And so to create the myth, we have an Australian boogeyman to come and say that I was not a bad man, I was just helping him. So Tom Hanks plays a fucking goblin.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's almost as if I want to ask the question, like, does it seem more like the Colonel movie than it does an Elvis biopic to a certain extent?
That's the thing, because it's the Colonel leading it,
Yeah.
It makes
Elvis more of a myth. Right? That's why, to me, only that end scene, because at that end scene, finally, the music calms down, the editing takes a fucking break for a second, and just be like, okay, no, we're just going to stay on this close-up.
Yeah.
Thank God.
So you can see him, you know? And, yeah, it's that. It's, a lot of drama is created for the sake of creating drama. You know, the 68 special, which looked great,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, it's the one of Stranger Things, right?
Yes.
But all this, like, you know, no, it's supposed to be a Christmas musical. Why are you doing this?
That
I'm gonna do what I
insistence.
want to do. As a musical, other sponsors are going away. How are we going to sell this single sewing machine?
Why are you going to Arnold now?
Because it was like that the entire movie.
And Arnold's Austrian.
Yes.
Was it really that strange?
Okay, Tom kind of amped it up a little bit. But
A little
Like,
bit.
how does anyone take him seriously? Like, how would anyone?
Because my image of the Colonel was always an imposing figure in the background.
yeah.
He was like the Don.
We never really heard him talk because, of course,
Yeah.
he wouldn't do the interviews or whatnot. It was always Elvis, and then he's just at the back going,
So finally, when we hear him, he sounds like this. You're like, what?
It was a very weird choice because I'm like, yeah, in no way, shape, or hell would I believe you're a Southern gentleman.
because yeah.
You know,
I
like
mean,
what job? And he
Hello,
tried to
I'm a colonel from the South.
and like that was just like talk about con job. It's not even a good con.
But yes, I came
Sorry.
out of the military because I could not fight in the Yankee War.
But okay, now
Ooh, is that strudel?
now that you having said that,
Schnitzel.
here's my counter
There
argument.
you go.
This is as much a Baz Luhrmann film as Multiverse was as much a Sam Raimi film, and and that's what I can forgive these small details for, because going in, I know what Baz Luhrmann does. You look at Great Gatsby, you look at Moulin Rouge, you look at Romeo and Juliet. It's flashy. Substance and style is all... No, style is there, substance maybe not. But that's okay.
Yeah, you brought up Romeo and Juliet, right?
Yes.
That brings up another crux to it. Because you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Except when you have a good script, like, say, Shakespeare, as much as you try to put flash in it, there's still substance.
Elvis introduces Elvis to a new generation that just wants to see the summary of his life at the moment. Hold on. Wants to see the summary. But at the same time, if you are willing enough, you can go home and do the research yourself, because a movie shouldn't have to explain every tiny detail to you.
No, it shouldn't, but it shouldn't be a compilation TikTok. That's what it feels like.
Well-
the way it's edited, like, and I know the excuse, like, oh, because young people have a short attention span. Fuck them! Fuck them off their stupid fucking asses!
Like I say, if you want the true nitty-gritty, hard-storied, edged version of Elvis's life, there's the Jonathan Rhys-Meyers film, which is like 3.5 hours long.
Which was made for TV.
But it's a
This
brilliant
was a
film,
big
though.
screen. Yes. You know, you have budget, you have Austin Butler, like, working his fucking ass off.
Yeah.
So far from Shannara Chronicles. Sorry, I just cannot. I just only recently discovered, like, wait, he was fucking Shannara Chronicles, like motherfucker, like
Let
wow.
me put it this way: Little Richard's music sequence felt longer than any of the Elvis sequences. Like, I got to experience Little Richard. I was like, this isn't a Little Richard movie, but I get to experience Little Richard as if I was through Elvis's eyes and enjoy it. And then we get what? One verse of That's Alright Mama before the Colonel comes in and tries to explain more story, because we cannot show. Because you don't show in a movie, you just talk.
Well, again...
Also, like, can we just point out that, you know, it was all Austin Butler, right?
Oh, fuck
It was
yes.
all Austin Butler.
Oh.
Singing?
Yeah.
No. The earlier years
yes.
is Austin Butler.
Okay.
The later years
'Cause his
is a
voice
mixture.
did get deeper.
Yeah.
And Austin he doesn't have, because I watched his screen test as well, like, he has the mannerism and everything, but he's also young, so that age is in his
Yeah.
voice.
That gravelness
Yeah.
that he had in the later years.
It doesn't have the
The wreckage of years of sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah. He can try with the voice in terms of talking, but singing that was...
to be able to go like, work hard in the trap, I can walk out.
And not sound caricaturish.
Yeah. Like, I can even forgive, like, you know, when it's a Vegas years, I'm like, he was fatter. Come on, he was fat.
Yeah, I know. Okay,
You're only going to fatten him up on that last piano scene,
Yeah.
but then it's like, no, that's the real Elvis.
No, that was him.
No, they cut back to it,
Yeah,
remember?
yeah.
And when they cut
right,
to
yeah,
the real
yeah.
footage, like, he was fatter.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
okay, that was also... Okay, if there was one nitpick for me, it was that. Like, during the Vegas years, I was like, no, he was heavier. He was much heavier than this.
He looked too good in that fucking jumpsuit.
He
That's
still
why-
looks too good.
That's why when there was that line, I'm in the best shape of my life, I knew he wasn't at that point, but I'm like, in the film, He looks it, but I'm like, no.
Also, I mean, I guess I couldn't get the Thor suit.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You know, that Thor suit.
That's
It's like,
true.
what do you mean, like, do we need to see all of that? Well, he kind of acts like all of that happened towards the end, so we do kind of need to see it. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't see him slowly despising being stuck in Vegas. We hear the Colonel for about 5 years, and then we cut to Elvis, and it's like, I take pills, and I got some skanky woman. And,
Because again, this
I don't
is
want to do this anymore.
Or that, but why that one scene where he's talking to his dad when he comes to the realization that he has to be tied down to this place.
Yeah, that was a nice scene.
Yeah.
But you see what I mean? Like, there's nothing prior to it.
because this is all told again through Tom Parker's eyes, so we have to live this story. This is, if you want to think
Hence
about
the
it,
Colonel movie.
It is his version of Elvis's story. So
But
if
then,
you
but then there are moments where Elvis wants to tell the story, where he does kind of.
Yeah.
The scenes do use that, so it's like that's why I found the Colonel a very very interesting device that he uses to try and narrate the story.
And the
because
addition of drama as well by like
it's two stories like really going like loggerheads at each other and like.
you're an Elvis fan.
yeah.
Yes. So in Vegas, did he really fire the Colonel on stage?
No.
Exactly.
But you see, okay, here's my comeback.
In fact, that whole moment, like at that point, the hotel was supposed to be taken over by the Hilton, and his one blow up was supposed to be because his friend got fired,
Yeah.
right?
But it wasn't
But
this
then
huge...
you'd have to introduce the friend, introduce the Hilton. I don't have time for that because I want to edit fancy.
Like, there was never this huge outburst from Elvis on stage. He wouldn't do that. But here's the thing, like,
Creating drama.
Bohemian Rhapsody had multiple fucking accuracy problems.
I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody was also an editing nightmare.
Yes. Every editor has pretty much. There are literally videos on YouTube
Yes.
of why the editing of
Yes.
Bohemian Rhapsody is so.
Yes.
Like when
But
we
you-
came out, Eva was like, fucking hated that. What, the movie? I like the performances, I like the music. Who the fuck is the editor?
But you see, there's...
Is it the same guy? Oh my god.
No, can't be. But there's that suspension of disbelief that we have to accept, because it has to drive the story. Like, it's always what was there was
Yeah,
something like
suspension
70% fact and like 30% fiction.
Suspension of disbelief
Yeah.
works if the audience suspends disbelief. You managed to,
Yeah.
I didn't. I was pulled out way
You?
too many times. Because
I didn't give a shit.
even if I wasn't an Elvis fan, it's like, is this really what happened? It's too fantastical. I get it, it's a myth, but
How does it compare to Rocket Man? Has anyone seen Rocket Man? I haven't seen
Yeah,
it.
I fucking
like
love
Rocket Man's a
Man.
fantasy as well, right?
Yeah, but
'Cause-
But
I
you
mean,
see-
Rocket Man is pure fantasy.
Yeah, and it gets away with it because we know
It's
this
pure
is
fantasy.
It's a pure fantasy film. We don't take it as a full-blown serious biopic. And to be honest, again, maybe that's why I appreciate Elvis, because I don't look at it as a straight, full-on history books
No.
biopic of Elvis.
it does create the feeling of watching Elvis for the
Yeah.
first time, because if you just put on like the old black and white, a kid be like, because to try and explain to someone now, you see him doing that, that is the equivalent of Nicki Minaj and Cardi
Twerking.
B's WAP,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and everyone like, what? So that was me. Sorry. So like that works. To give the impression of the feeling, but again, like, if the mythicness, right? So if we're going with this whole myth thing, the first time he's in Vegas, like, I like the sequence where he's finally got this big band, he's trying this big sound, and you see him working the music.
That was amazing.
That's the only time we really get to see him work music. The Christmas special song, like, what happened? Oh, he wrote it overnight. Off camera? Good. But like, so you have the height of the first Vegas thing,
yeah,
but you don't get that sense of, I'm fucking tired of doing this.
yeah.
Until he just says, we have a scene, I'm tired of this. And
And
like,
okay.
it didn't seem like you were tired earlier.
To a certain extent, I would have liked to see that bit as well, the bit before the 68 comeback special, because the reason why he wanted to do the 68 comeback special is because he really, after his mother's death, fell through a really depressive phase that he thought could get away with in Hollywood. It didn't, and he got really fucking depressed, lost who he was, And that's why the 68 comeback
But you
special
didn't get the
was so
sense of
powerful.
that. You get the sense of his mother died. He's super upset. Oh, but Colonel's here. Colonel's my new daddy because my dad's fucking useless.
Yeah.
Because told
And then
through Parker's eyes.
I know
Okay.
that-
Would it also be safe to say that the both of you actually want different things from your idol toko movies?
I mean, he's not
Maybe.
an idol of mine.
I mean, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
But to me, it's like, as a musician, I was not nourished. You know?
As a fan, I was.
and
Maybe. Because it's like, I look at it the same way. Like, for example, for Eva, I can tell, like, she has the same feelings I had when I watched the Andre 3000 Jimi Hendrix biopic.
Yeah.
When I see his guitar, right?
Yeah.
And to a lot of people, no big deal. To me, no, fuck you. He played a Fender Strat. It was Keith Richards' Fender Strat.
Yeah.
It's a specific gear, specific headstock. That's what Jimi Hendrix is. What the fuck is this no brand China copy he's using? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things like that will, you know, like it's not nitpicking detail. It's the details that meant something. You know what I mean? Like, because to me, like, for example, the Vegas years, to me, there's more mystery there,
Yeah.
you know? Because there's this weird descent in the Vegas years. At some point, for some reason, he learned karate,
And he
bought a shitload of guns, and went to Nixon and said, hey, I should be in the CIA,
Yeah.
you know? And it's like,
why?
you kind of, yeah, you want to know, like, what the fuck made you do all this?
It can't just have been the drugs.
And the obvious answer is, well, you're stuck in Vegas. You can't tour the world. And this
That-
colonel is fucking you up.
And
That
again,
was
And we just
was-
skim through in another montage.
Again,
That was the
if I
fucking
wanted
saddest
that,
thing.
I have Elvis and Nixon to watch. That's what I'm talking about. Like, there are so many other deep points of his life that they made movies of that I'm like, you know, if I wanted that, I can research it, I
Yeah,
can find
but
that
they're
film
all-
and watch that.
They're all little bits, and, like, to me, it's just a miss. Oh, fuck. They just skimmed past Sinatra.
Yeah, because
You didn't miss that sequence?
The Offer did Sinatra, so it's fine.
I'm like, really? We're not going to... Because the Sinatra moment was after the war,
Yeah.
reintroducing Elvis. Like, without the Sinatra moment, Elvis would have been...
Because Frank Sinatra had a show at that point.
Yeah.
So basically, he got Elvis on as sort of his big comeback sort of thing after the war.
So then everyone remembered, oh shit, Elvis is still around.
Yeah.
Because went to the war, came back, no big show yet. So Sinatra kind of like reintroduced Elvis to everyone.
Yelah, then to cast a good person to be Sinatra lah.
Which-
Susah lah tu.
Same guy from The Offer?
Kita dah cuba tapi dia tak boleh kan.
Tony
Found
Danza.
someone. Look, even when the guy they cast for BB King, and I'm like, I know he hadn't gained weight yet, but this guy's small.
Yeah, yeah.
Little Richards was good though.
Yeah.
Little Richards was very good.
Yeah.
I was quite impressed. But yeah, like, and the other things that might bug me are more my own personal thing. I'll get to that later. But to me, it's more like just the overall, just the storytelling. Like, it would have been nice. Like, to me, I would have liked to have seen, and it would have made me gone as well. Like, wow, Baz has matured as a director, where the myth is at the beginning,
Yeah.
you know, and Vegas is when shit gets real. But he kept the myth up all the way until just that scene in the fucking airport hangar, which for some reason is the scene with the worst green screen CGI. Everything else looked great, and then that one, I'm like, which is this airport in Narnia? Like, what the fuck is this? So smoky. They're so separated from the background. They get into the car. Oh, this is a real set. Okay. Then comes back out. She gets on the plane. Like, okay. Can't afford a
There was a
hangar.
very weird sequence. Like,
Especially like, even if you want to use the excuse like it was during COVID. Yeah, all the planes are grounded.
Yeah.
You have every plane hangar in the world to shoot in. Oh no, it doesn't look appropriate for my mythic feeling. It must be a green screen, and the smoke must be like Casablanca or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, because to me, yeah, the Vegas years are a moment which seemed like a high, but it was really the beginning of the fall.
I mean, it started off as a high. I mean,
Yeah.
Elvis was only supposed to do it for like a few weeks, but that was
Because that opportunity for any musician, like hotels paying for everything on stage.
Yeah.
You just gotta perform, bring whoever you want. That is a fucking great opportunity.
Yeah.
But then okay, so I'm not sure whether it's because after we've seen what happens to Elvis, right? Like a part of me actually thinks I'm not sure how artists now feel about it, but a part of me also feels like, wow, you performing in Vegas, it's a bit like the low, right?
I mean, that's the thing. It's,
like when Britney Spears performing in Vegas, I'm like, ooh,
I mean, that's the thing. Like, this is what started that perception.
that it is.
Because first it was like, because before that, only people that did that would be like Frank.
Yeah, the Rat Pack,
You know.
essentially.
So pop music didn't really become a Vegas thing until Elvis.
Yeah.
But then because of that decline,
Of
you know,
Elvis.
like 5 years nonstop, and you start seeing like, wow, the screaming orgasmic girls are looking more and more like housewives.
Yeah.
You know?
Screaming orgasmic aunties.
Yes. So then that's why the perception has been like, oh, you're going to Vegas to do a residency? You got no money, you're tied to tour, is it?
Yeah.
Okay lah.
I mean, yeah, strangely enough, Carlos Cher does it. I'm like, yeah, Cher, knock yourself out.
There are some
because
performers,
you're a showgirl anyway.
Right? There
Yeah.
are some performers where it makes sense. Like if Cher did it, fucking Bette Midler did it or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be like, yeah, it makes sense. But when Aerosmith did it, you're like,
From Britney. I mean,
Britney, that just felt forced.
that's
Yeah.
just. I mean,
that really made you go like,
That is
what's up with this family?
But
that is literally the
Yeah.
Colonel, the situation of the Colonel and
Yeah.
Elvis.
But
It's like,
isn't Adele about to do a residency in Vegas?
Strangely, that makes sense. Like Adele, Celine Dion, that makes sense for a Vegas crowd. But if suddenly Eminem residency, I'd be
Oh,
like,
shit.
oh fuck no, Em, what happened? Where's all your money?
what about Nicki Minaj? Somehow, actually, that
Does
kind
she
of
have enough content to do a?
like,
you know?
like maybe
Because you need a good back catalog
Yes.
as well, and you got to be able to do covers.
Yeah.
although Nicki Minaj would like, I was like thinking, like, oh, Nicki Minaj X Zoology would be interesting.
Like I could totally imagine
So much
Adele
whopping.
doing it because I can also imagine her like, oh, it's great, and I don't have to tour anymore. Oh, and just sit here, have me fucking lobster.
I love Adele.
That does sound like her, though.
I still love that video. There's a fucking mosquito on my leg. It was like Charmaine filmed it at a concert. Some mosquito was biting her leg, and she's on the floor like, "Get it fucking off me!" Oh,
Hey,
you're
bitch.
so couple. But
No.
your voice is beautiful.
Yes. Now, my favorite is still her Instagram live where she was trying to figure out how to use Instagram live. How do I accept gifts?
But yeah, like you see, what I mean, like I get it because I get how the theatrical myth would appeal to you, and it's also to get that feeling again because and to be able to have a reference to be like, this is what it feels like,
Yeah.
and then other people are like, I get it. You
Also,
know?
because it's been what? I think maybe the last pick on the big screen of Elvis's life might have actually been Kurt Russell's
yeah,
Elvis, and that was in the 70s.
Yeah.
So to finally see it on the big screen is like,
I get it.
yeah.
I get it. The excitement, and it's like Elvis come to life, but just as okay, like he was always a myth, and it was like, oh, he's still a myth. He's still unreachable.
Kau
You know
nak
what I
real, kau nak dia real sikit lah. Dia
I would
tak
like
nak.
not even just the real, but also how he got into music was skimmed so quickly. Like so quickly, like I'm a poor white boy in a black neighborhood. The blues is all around me. Ta-da! Like, fuck off.
Tiba-tiba that sounds so Glee.
And of course, and
Yeah.
Ryan Murphy.
and then okay, the personal stuff for me is because, especially right now, because I'm like
Because you're
going through it
and
again.
you're going to blues.
The blues
You're
music
having
again,
a blues phase.
and the history of the blues. So
Check out Kai's Instagram, YouTube.
YouTube, yes. Kai Mano.
but yeah, so like a bunch of those things. Please pardon my language, but it feels very happy Negro to me. What was it? The magic, the mystical.
Yeah. This is actually a question that I wanted to ask you. Like, how did you feel on this sort of... Because I know you've always had an issue with Elvis taking black music. So this one, how did you feel that it was treated?
Okay, like, I mean, it's like the Public Enemy quote from Chuck D. Like, Elvis was a hero to most, but he never meant shit to me. He was straight up racist. Like, I'm like, that's a very harsh way of looking at it.
Yeah.
To me, he wasn't. I like how Eva put it. Like, oh, he was just regular racist for the time. He wasn't the bad racist.
I don't know. I don't
In
feel
that-
like he was trying to be racist.
I don't know.
No,
That's what I
that's
mean.
what I
Like,
mean. He's not-
it's
it's
the cultural
regular,
racism
yeah.
where you don't realize
Yes.
Yeah, because
yeah.
he
how
was
what the effects are. But like the idea that
He can just co-opt their music.
okay, first off, like lots of things with that stuff just felt weird. Like Crudup's version of "That's Alright, Mama." There is no version recorded like that. He's playing "That's Alright, Mama" like it's deep Delta blues, but it's a little boogie. Elvis countryed it up a bit, but the groove is still the same.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you have Crudup playing in a juke joint, which also like juke joints were never that empty. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
Just two people.
it's this nice mythic idea
Yes.
of a juke joint.
Yeah.
But at the same time, number one, juke joints were
Go
never
bit, go bit.
that empty.
No, cannot, because the
Yeah.
revival touch banyak orang. Tak apa.
And then number two, in that kind of place, no lady got to dress that fine. I was like literally in that scene, I was like, did a whore from Chicago come in?
Cantiknya baju tu.
None of these, because also like where he was staying, these would have been sharecroppers, which was basically like allowed slavery. You know, because you have a piece of land that you're renting from the white man. You crop the cotton, right? And then you make that money. Oh, but you still have your rent. So then you have no money. And the prices are so stupid that
Yeah.
you basically owe money for the land for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Right? And you got that. You got the revivalist church. Like, all you see is him peeking into a juke joint and go sing some gospel. But at no point do you see, like, I'm going to go learn guitar and play this shit. I just suddenly know how to do it. And all the white people don't like me. Whatever. You know, or him just walking through Beale Street and
Being
okay, at no point do we even address how him and BB King became friends. 1 minute, hey, that's BB King. Next minute, hey, BB. Hey, EB. Hey, BB. EB. BB. EB. Get your ass over here. We're all cool. We're all mystical, happy Negroes who will welcome the white man. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
you would expect more stairs when he walks down that place.
you know, like it's big. Like Big Mama said so herself. She got more money from Janis Joplin's cover than she did from Elvis. They just
Yeah.
paid her a flat fee and said thank you, goodbye for Hound Dog.
And like how what BB said, like he could record Little Richard's song and make millions more because he's a white boy.
That's the most they said. But he's still that what do you call it? You know, the black man that gives that advice. Hey, white boy, if you do this, remember they got money, so the colonel must have another reason. I'm still happy and enjoying my career, even though you're making much more money than the rest of us. Goodbye. You know.
By the way, speaking of which, Elvis did record Tutti Frutti. It's not as good as fucking Little Richard's one, but he did
no.
record one. Yeah.
Because Little Richard made sure that nobody could make their versions better than his.
No.
You know? Sister Rosetta Tharpe is just like, and that's Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Ha! Playing the guitar goes away. You know, like, that's all we're gonna get. Like
Yeah.
these are big
Legend.
people in the blues. Sister Rosetta Tharpe, Big Mama Thornton, BB King, Little Richard. Come on now.
But this
And it's just like, oh, we're all happy. We got no issues with each other.
But this
This
is
is
the
not-
Colonel's movie.
Yes, exactly. That's
You
what I
know?
come back to. This is
So it's actually not,
Parker's-
it's not the Elvis movie. It's a Colonel
Because
movie.
even in the Jimi Hendrix movie, as bad as it is, Andre 3000 does do a great performance. And if you ever want to see the person playing Peggy Carter be a cockney mean bitch, that's the movie
her
to
name
watch.
is Haley Atwell.
Yes.
Oh, Haley Atwell. She's just Essex all over in this movie.
Guildhall.
But even that one touches at least on the fact that the black community wasn't thought Jimi Hendrix was an Uncle Tom.
yeah.
Like they didn't cover because they didn't have the permission, obviously.
Yeah.
Like apparently, like after Woodstock, Jimmy played Harlem, and it was one of the worst. They were pissed with him. To them, he was an Uncle Tom because you're playing for the white people. You're in the white person's world, but what the fuck have you done for us, right? So I was expecting at some point some scene where he goes to Beale Street and people weren't as happy about him. But instead, I was like, it's Elvis! It's Elvis! It's the man who has introduced our music to the rest of the world. Thank you.
He's gentrified our
Yeah.
music, so it's more
Thank you
palatable.
so
for
much. Thank you. Even though we don't get a dime.
I wonder if that is also just telling about Baz Luhrmann and the writer's perspective
it's more
on
to
of it. You know what I mean?
create
It's
the
like
myth.
they don't have
Yeah.
like someone like Baz may not
No.
even have that like.
Because to me, I would have
encounter
loved
with
to have
that
seen
conversation.
that clash because you have these three genres where he's pulling from.
Yeah.
Right? And already just pulling from blues and gospel back then
Yeah.
was a clash. Because to gospel people, blues is the devil's music.
Yeah.
You know? That's where the sexy lady in the red dress just rubs against someone's crotch. Right? No, there's gospel where we sweat and
Jiggle,
put our hands
shake,
out and shake a lot.
and
Yeah.
speak in
But
tongues.
it's fine. It's for the Lord. And then you have
Slaps
country,
on the floor.
where of course there's another, you know, like no, this is white music. White, cool.
Why?
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
So, as a musician, I also want to see how did you piece these three together
Yeah.
in a way where, like, because it's obviously your influences,
Does,
you know. And the way the movie made it seem as well is like, oh yes, and because his dad was in jail, he stayed with the black folk. And it made it seem like he did that till the day he was 24. In truth, how long was it?
No, but when he was 16, 17, he cut the Sun Records thing.
No,
and then-
how long was his dad in jail?
If I'm not mistaken, 5, 6 years? Wasn't it?
According to Eve, it was a couple of months.
No.
No?
I thought he went back the second time round. Like, he was jailed, I think, multiple
Oh,
times.
multiple
At least
times.
3 or 4 times.
But that's the thing, it made it seem like up until they got to that apartment, he'd just been living there.
Yeah. No,
they
Because honestly, if he was just living there, he would have heard no country.
suspension of disbelief.
I get it, but,
yeah,
I,
mean,
wanted to see because he created, like, whether
His
you
sound.
like him or not, he created a sound
Yeah,
that was new.
yeah.
Each of those genres were like, what the fuck is this?
does
You know? And, like, he became the king of rock and roll. Like, he introduced that to everyone,
Yeah.
right? You kind of want to know where that came from. And also, a part of me kind of wants to see Chuck Berry going, what the fuck? Because
we
Chuck
all?
Berry did,
go what the fuck?
what do you call it? Desegregate the airwaves first.
Yeah.
With Nadine.
You want to see these stories? Jonathan Rhys
Nom, nom,
Meyers
nom, nom,
Elvis
nom,
film
nom,
from
nom, 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 nom,
2005.
but like, but does I mean, I know we can't really rightly know exactly how his thought process was, but does anyone actually know? Does anyone actually know how he came up with this, or is it just no one has ever tried? Has anyone ever tried to
I
piece
would have
together?
even taken, like, a mythic representation of it.
It came to me in a dream, and God told me to do this.
You know, or just him jamming some people and then, hey, try this, da da da.
I mean,
Okay, the story that I know at least, because I know there's many, many different stories, because again, Elvis is such a mythical creature that there's so many different stories. But what I know is that in his younger days, when he was a teenager, he used to go to these jive bars. I mean, he wouldn't directly go in them, but he would lurk outside and just listen to the music from there.
Yeah.
Learning the guitar, that one I still don't know. We still don't
Does
know.
no one know where he learned guitar
what do you
from?
mean? Can't he just pick up a?
Yeah, but who
I'm
taught
sure
him?
somebody taught him, but
Someone's
like,
got to teach you.
yeah,
You
even
know?
I don't know that. But
Or was he that much of a savant genius? Like, did
no,
he have perfect pitch?
no.
Or
No, he
you know,
didn't.
because or because he hung out with the black community so often, he went to a crossroads and made a deal with the devil.
Because even the way, like, black people taught guitar back then was different,
Yeah.
you know? Like, it would have been an interesting thing to see.
Remember how Dewey Cox learned guitar? Like that.
Exactly.
Okay, so he hung out jive
Put
joints.
your finger right
Yeah.
there, boy. Yeah.
Yeah, he hung out at jive joints. He heard the music from outside. Same sort of story that Jerry Lee Lewis had as well, where eventually he got inside of the club and started playing there. Like, they accepted him. Jerry Lee Lewis, I think he did it before Elvis in terms of being accepted into a jive bar instead of Elvis.
Juke joint.
Juke joint,
What's
sorry.
his
Juke joint. Because he played the piano, and I think that was something very different at that time. And of course, he also did blues and rock and roll, which was,
He was just a lot more racist.
yeah. And if you want to see a film like that, there's also the Dennis
Yes,
Quaid
there is.
biopic called Great Balls of Fire.
Which is, see, even that, it's a bit watered down,
Yeah.
right? But it doesn't skimp on the fact that married his cousin.
Winona Ryder was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm sorry, you gave the cousin way too much credit to think she looked like Winona Ryder. You look at the real photos, she looks like Olive from Popeye.
She's 12. Yeah.
Yeah, he married his 12-year-old second cousin, twice removed,
Yeah.
who was his bandmate's sister,
Yeah. Lisa Marie was like, what?
and didn't tell him. So one day at rehearsal,
Surprise.
no, he comes in like, "You married my fucking sister!" Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and again, like, because if they did Jerry Lee Lewis's movie and you skim that, no, it's like, because there's even a scene where he basically like forces himself on her when he's drunk,
Yeah.
you know, which was natural at the time for husband and wife, you know, and it's like, look, this is the uncomfortable fact about this guy in his life.
Yeah.
But even that one, like, they created drama that wasn't there.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
have
like this
to.
whole moment of like Elvis going off to the army, like, you know, like, it's all yours now. There's a moment where apparently, like, they played it like him and Elvis were fighting to be king of rock and roll, when in truth they were just buddies.
Yeah.
Probably not the best buddy. The Colonel didn't like him being friends with Jerry Lee Lewis. Because there's a great story where Elvis once called him at Graceland, from Graceland.
Oh my God, I know the
Right?
story, yes.
And
He was feeling depressed, and Jerry's like, "Look, I got the cure for it. Let's kill each other."
Yeah.
So he drove up with a gun. Guards there like, "Hey, Jerry, hey, what's up with the gun? It's mine. What you want to do? I'm going to go see Elvis. Can't let you do that."
He rammed through the gates.
Rammed through Graceland. Brandishing his gun. "Where's Elvis?" So he's not the best friend to have. He's not a good influence. I understand why the Colonel didn't want them to be friends, but...
for once, we're on your side.
You know, like, okay, yeah, you can skip moments like that because then you have to introduce Jerry Lee and all this stuff and blah,
Yeah.
blah. But like you said, even that Sun House
Sun
period,
Records.
Sun Record period. Sun House is a blues guy. The Sun Records period, like, I remember that famous photo. There's Elvis, Johnny Cash, and Jerry
Oh,
Lee
yes.
Lewis.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And who's the fourth guy? Chet Atkins, Slim. I can't remember. There's a fourth country guy.
Not oh yeah, it wasn't Chubby Checker.
No, there was four white guys.
Mm.
And it was one of those things like, if these guys just press record, this is going to be amazing. But they never press record.
Yeah.
And that was the one time where all their schedules clicked.
And again, if I wanted to see that story,
Oh my God.
I can go to the Sun Records TV show. You see, this is again what I'm talking about.
And how many people watch the Sun Records TV show?
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't too bad.
No, but because you keep going back to, if they really wanted to, they will go and look for it. No, they won't.
Because this is what Baz Luhrmann does. This is Baz's first biopic, technically, right?
I mean, technically, Australia is a historical account
Yeah.
of the making of Australia, but let's just give that a skip.
Yeah, which is now being turned into a TV series.
Of course it is.
No, he's recutting his original cut to make it into a TV series.
Oh, fucking.
Oh my God, this is what Snyder Cut has done to us.
I think
This is what Snyder Cut has
if
done
I'm not
to
mistaken,
us.
he's got like 5 or 6 hours of footage, so he's just gonna recut it the way he wanted to tell the Australia story. So yeah,
I mean, the point is, like, I don't
It's
have a problem
boring.
with Baz's mythic thing because I really like the Get Down. The first season. Second season's fucking terrible, and Baz has nothing to do with it. But yeah, it was over budget. It's very obviously Netflix does not have the budget to make a Baz Luhrmann TV show.
No.
But for that one, because it's a series, so you have time as well, and
Yeah.
it's also and I think also because it's a series, I'm pretty sure it's like it can't be a Moulin Rouge sequence 45 minutes every episode, can it? At some points, we should probably slow down and just let people talk dialogue.
yes,
You know? So, to me, it worked. Like, is it fake and anachronistic as hell? Quite a bit. But all those characters aren't real. You know? So, I'm okay with it. This one, they're real. You can look it up. Like, he didn't do this.
yeah.
You know? Like, I don't know.
What
And
if-
yeah, like the
because-
fucking music. I wanted to see whole sequences. Were they even
And-
shot?
I think so.
I hope so.
because they recorded like the full songs.
Yeah.
No, and also, it brings up a good point. Like, all these things that didn't happen. People, not everybody will look into it. People will think that these things actually happen because it's a biopic.
Then I'm sorry, but
That's on them?
On them because like okay,
But
let's,
oh God, no! I'm gonna.
No, yeah.
I can say really bad things, but
I know, but
won't.
let's take the Chernobyl fucking TV
you
series
go.
for one. There are many historical inaccuracies with that, to which,
Tons.
yeah, to
That
which they
woman.
actually had to come out and say it because people were believing that it's real. But you see, I feel that's what has been missing between the 80s and now. That people tend to believe what they watch in film. They no longer think like, oh, this is inspired by a true story. No, everything that has happened on screen is real, and that's how I will take it. Which,
I know.
guys, it's wrong.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you make up something for the sake of the drama in the movie, then I have a problem.
Did you have a problem with Bohemian Rhapsody?
With Bohemian Rhapsody, look, that's also not a perfect movie. You know?
Yeah.
Like, just like this one, if it's not for Rami Malek, that movie's not going to work.
Because, he didn't get AIDS until after Live Aid.
You see that movie, what it does do, it shows the creative process. You understand why Queen is different.
Which makes sense because you always like to watch, like you were talking about the Beatles Get Back.
Yeah,
documentary.
like I
The
like
reason why
seeing
you
the
like
process.
watching, you like seeing the
but
process.
Also to me, like, it helps to show, like, this is why, because, like, people don't understand what a musician does half the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They think musicians pull the song out of their ass fully formed.
Yeah.
So, to me, and y'all can comment if you think I'm wrong, but seeing, for example, Rami Malek just messing around on the piano and figuring out the melody for Bohemian Rhapsody,
Yeah.
right? Did it happen exactly like that?
No.
No. But something nice about that, seeing him go like, again, higher. You see the professionalism, you see the attention to detail. Let's swing the speakers, or you see the experimentation.
Yeah.
The only moment we got with that was his first show in Vegas.
Yeah.
At no point did, like his band is just nobodies.
And has there been any point in any of the other Elvis things where this is shown?
Jonathan Rhys Meyers as Elvis. But I'm sorry, but I hold that film in high regard because
you
that
should.
really showed the true
You
story
should.
of Elvis.
It's also hard to find.
That's
I've been
why-
looking.
That's why I have kept it for eons because I have
Jump,
kept it.
jump.
Yeah.
Because I can't find it anywhere.
That is my golden goose egg. That one.
It's easier to find Kurt Russell's one.
Yeah, I know, right?
The
But-
TV movie's so fucking hard to find. It's ridiculous.
No, I found
I'm
it.
surprised that right now no one's like putting it up or re-releasing it.
Exactly. It's so fucking underrated.
What channel was it on? Was it HBO?
Hallmark? No.
No, it cannot be Hallmark. Might be
Hallmark
HBO.
wouldn't have had the money.
Might be HBO. Let me double check.
HBO needs to get on that, dude.
Yeah, because unless
Cash
there's,
cow.
unless there's a rights, but there shouldn't be a rights issue, right?
If it's HBO, then no, they have their own streaming site.
Let me see.
Oh, no, there might be a rights issue. Because when it comes to streaming,
Uh-huh.
you have to redo the music rights.
Oh.
Yeah. So any rights,
Oh fuck! Wait, no. Right now, it's distributed by Netflix. It was originally on CBS.
oh, we don't, do we?
We don't have it. No, we
Fuck
don't
it.
have it. Where can I watch Elvis?
CBS is.
It's streaming on Roku. Isn't Roku free?
No, Roku is not. No, Roku is not available
The
in this
device is,
Oh.
like, just because you buy the device doesn't mean you get the
Service.
Yeah.
But it is on some streaming services, but
Oh, okay.
not enough.
country. Well, if you
Because
can get it, go watch it. Apparently, Nick strongly recommends this movie.
yeah,
This
because
No, it's a good performance.
Yeah, it's a very good performance.
It's bogged down by the fact it's a TV budget.
yeah.
But
Wait,
still.
has sorry, random because Jonathan has White Raja come out? Not yet, right?
Yeah,
White
that came
Raja,
out like
yeah.
2 years ago.
Oh,
It's not called White Raja.
I know.
It's what Edge of the
Edge of the
Universe.
world. Anyway, back
Anyway.
to Elvis.
Yeah, it's like I can talk about the things that bugged me more than the things that I liked, but that doesn't mean that I hated the movie,
Okay.
right? Like to me, yes, it creates that experience. It's just I don't like the potong steamness of even that. Because if the performances and all that were allowed to breathe and let me experience it, I'd probably go easy on it.
Okay.
But his editor needs some Ritalin or some shit.
No. He needs some downers.
It's just I couldn't tahan the THR bring all the volume down to talk. Like it literally felt like listening to THR, like it's like music like ya dan kita akan persembahan ini dengan dan screen it was the same thing except it's like Well, that's all right, Mama. I found him in this hall. And he was the snowman.
Again,
And this
because it's
obsession with
Baz,
snowmen. I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Even that, I don't know whether he was called the snowman or not, if I'm honest
And
with
just
you.
when we thought we'd find out, like, okay, so he's got this weird history, and what's with?
Nope.
Come on. So what? Oh,
That's it.
Itu
so
je.
he's just Connie folk.
Itu je.
Itu je.
Itu je.
Itu je.
Like they kept building up
Siap
that
punya
scene
CIA,
where the colonel was
siap-
being
Yeah.
interrogated,
Yeah.
and they're like, so, hey, meeting habis. Oh, so how? And then later on, like, Colonel doesn't have a passport. That's why. Oh. I don't
I'm
like
sorry,
him
it's such a
anymore.
stupid. Such a stupid. Oh my word.
Because yes, you're right. The Colonel's a fucking mystery.
Yeah.
And not many people know about him.
Yeah.
But now think about it. A whole generation is going to think the Colonel is an evil goblin from Austria.
Well, to be fair, he did take all of Elvis's money. What does a goblin do?
They should call this movie Elvis versus Rumpelstiltskin. Like,
He took his money, he took his soul, took his life.
you should have never crossed this bridge, Elvis.
A part of me wants to see the alternate universe that Elvis would have created if he had gone on that world tour.
Yeah, of course.
That
we
was
all-
like that whole thing where
Made a
like
huge difference.
I was like,
Wait, did we
wait,
do Japan?
No.
We really do. Okay.
I was like, gee, I mean, like, why would you ever say no to a world fucking tour?
Because
I don't know.
I don't have the passport.
And even the things that that the Colonel did, which if you think about it, were revolutionary at the time. Like the satellite feed,
Oh, yeah.
right? We're just going to skim this with an After Effects PowerPoint presentation of, look, the satellites are in Japan. Oh. And merchandising as well. Like,
Oh, merchandising.
Again, we're going to skim through this in the montage. Oh, look, I make so much money, I put your name on the towel.
Look at all of these things, and even people even get some money from all the anti-fans, you know, the people who hate you.
And I felt bad that the mom was played like such typical, stereotypical biopic mom.
But she looked a lot like her,
She
didn't
did, but it's also like, we got all this money, mama, but you sold Elvis, and I'm not happy, and I'm drinking.
She really drunk herself to death.
Yeah, it was...
I kept waiting in the movie for the dad to go, the wrong son died.
Fuck you! Fuck's sake! Fuck's sake!
I swear, Dewey Cox has ruined biopic movies for me. Because his first performance, and all the girls are going crazy, I couldn't stop thinking of like, hold my hand.
Because the fucker went through almost every iconic...
Exactly.
He did Bob Dylan, he did Johnny Cash, he did
There you
Elvis,
go.
the
He did
Beatles.
multiple generations, and we still got the point of the plot. You see, when you just put your mind to it, there's no limit to what we can imagine.
Also, I kind of... That bit when the friends were giving Elvis the pills.
There you
I was
go.
like,
You don't want
no
this.
part of this, man.
And you didn't once pay for drugs. Not once.
Fucking walk hard.
If you haven't seen it, watch Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
It's brilliant.
If you don't want to watch any other biopic, watch Dewey Cox. You will get a sense of every biopic that's ever existed.
He did Buddy Holly as well, right?
In terms of the career, no, but Malcolm in the Middle
Yes!
was Buddy Holly.
And Jack White was Elvis.
Jack White was Elvis. Jack White was just incomprehensible.
Yeah, the whole time he was just going,
Look
no.
out, man!
And Dewey Cox was just
Karate.
standing there going like,
He literally says, "The fuck was he talking about?"
yeah, that's another good Elvis interpretation.
Like literally, he had a brother that died.
Yeah.
Wrong son died.
Died at stillborn, died at birth, but yeah.
So of course he's doing it in memory. It's just like, oh my god, Dewey Cox has ruined biopics. And yet, I followed the emotional journey more.
Fuck's sake. Oh no.
See, there was no moment in Elvis where he breaks sinks, so we can see his frustration.
He shot TVs.
Did he?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Remember there's that was the only part of the film where we got the paranoid Elvis where he was sleeping with the girl and he heard something outside the
he heard
hotel
the gun,
room.
Yeah.
Lifted all the guns with the CIA badge, the FBI badge there.
Like,
see,
see,
that was the hint
That's
of the
it.
FBI
They just
story.
skimmed it.
Yeah.
And like, because when you reach that point, like,
How did he get there?
Yeah, how'd that good old boy from Beale Street turn into this? What happened?
Drugs.
It can't just all have been sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
It was
Drugs and
except-
isolation.
Yeah,
He was very lonely.
which to me is like, show that.
He practically he died alone.
Think about it. You're stuck in a suite in a hotel.
Yeah.
You literally don't have to leave the hotel. Everything's there
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you.
yeah.
At a certain point, you're gonna go cuckoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called lockdown.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
He was in lockdown for 5 years.
Yeah. Couldn't go anywhere. He was trapped in his own country. That's the thing. Couldn't even travel the border because he was stuck in Vegas.
Didn't he do a tour at one point though?
Yeah, I mean, he did a North American tour. He did go to Canada for a
Because he
few
wanted
times.
to bring the same group,
Yeah,
the same sound.
but he never traveled further than that.
Can you imagine if he had?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we all think, what would have happened if he did actually break off from Tom? But, that goblin at his hands and him. so-
If he got into the hippie scene, like actually got into that late 60s hippie scene.
Yeah.
Because Dylan reinvented himself.
Well, I
went
would love
electric,
to see what his sound would have
you
been.
know?
And somehow he always loved that big band sound. So I'm like, can you imagine he
So-
recorded a swing album?
Exactly. Like, he could obviously do a lot of genres.
Yeah.
He was an entertainer first and foremost.
Yes.
You know, it's just he was stuck in Vegas. And that's one thing that disappointed me about the Vegas years. Like, to me, that's an important part of the decline. Right? Like if it was mythic all the way and then, like, after the years pass in
The
Vegas.
harsh realities.
Right? That would've
fucking
been
crashing
interesting.
down.
But instead, we just get the scene at the CGI airport.
Yeah. Because Vegas was the dream that turned into a nightmare. Literally.
I know.
But
But
killed him.
yeah, like so many things, like from Priscilla, I love you, to Priscilla, I'm leaving. What happened? He's in that room. Oh, we must understand through montage filmmaking shorthand. I would have loved to have seen just his first day on set. Because how fucked up would that feel? Like, you're a musician. It's your first moment in Hollywood. You're from, like, the rural South.
And here's the thing. His first film, he hated it. Love Me Tender. He fucking hated it.
Would have been interesting to see.
Yeah.
I hate it. It's a big hit. It's a big hit, Elvis. We must make more movies.
Because all these movies he never enjoyed because it wasn't what he wanted to do. He
was
wanted to
pop
be
fluff.
he wanted to be an actual serious actor. But
like, if the Colonel wasn't around, he would have been in A Star Is Born.
yeah.
Still, we got Chris Christopherson, so that's okay. But, if it was Elvis and Barbara Streisand,
And that would have been probably a new chapter in his
Yeah.
career.
and
That could have been the
it's-
turning point.
like, you just put, you don't even have to put that picture. You just said, Elvis, Barbara Streisand, A Star Is Born.
Sold.
Everyone's going to the cinema.
Yeah.
Easily. Instead,
He got it.
I'm gonna win this race. Eddie Murphy skits like, Elvis didn't even act. He just sang all his dialogue.
I'm gonna win this race.
Hey, Elvis, you want some lemonade? Lemonade. That cool, refreshing drink.
But yeah, I guess that kind of sums up our mixed opinions on Elvis, which is interesting. Like, we all had very varying opinions about one film.
And you understand, I'm not dissing
Kidding.
Elvis.
No. Yeah. I know.
No, of
because
course
you,
not. Like,
You
the
have your
person.
opinion. I have
Yeah.
my opinion. You have your opinion. But
Right? Like,
we all want. Not say we all wanted different things, but
I'm
I think
dissing Baz.
No, I
I'm
mean,
not
I
dissing
don't-
Elvis.
I think between you and me, we probably went in with two very different mindsets. Because I was ready. I was full blown ready to accept anything that was coming my way. Oh no! Before we leave, this is one question I wanted to ask you. How do you feel about the music in terms of the reworked?
Oh yeah,
Elvis
yeah.
songs.
'Cause You
They're
were
fine.
you were
Yeah,
very
no.
concerned
You're-
about that.
Yeah,
Be-
and the reworking worked fine if they let it play. Let the song play. It's a movie about a musician. Let the song play, or at least find a nice stopping point. Don't cut him off halfway. That's all right, Mark. I have things to say.
By the way, if
You
you're
know?
listening to the album on Spotify, the whole
Do they
Vegas
let the whole song play?
they do.
Thank you.
But the whole Vegas rehearsal into That's Alright Vegas, it's chilling on the soundtrack.
Nice.
I love that version.
And I'm sure the excuse is you can have it on the soundtrack. Like, I wanted to experience it right there, because when it's like
At
the
least-
Vegas performance, or even like the his first performance,
Yeah.
on the big screen, it looks great.
Yeah.
It's the montages which are a fucking headache on the big screen, because there's so many split screens. But on IMAX, You're like,
Which corner? Which tiny corner of the screen?
It's so
at
hard
least,
to
at least
follow.
even in like Bohemian Rhapsody, we got the AIDS concert, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, they literally did a whole screening of just the Live Aid concert.
But you see, they understood how important that fucking performance was.
Yeah.
And how you had to anchor that ending to that performance.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's a big deal.
But I do
Baz-
appreciate they ended on the Unchained Melody though. Like,
No,
I
that
mean,
was a nice touch.
yeah.
But you see, like, that one, they let it play because it's the end of the movie.
Yes.
Like, you couldn't even let That's Alright Mama play. Like, That's Alright Mama is a big fucking deal in music.
Because that was his first song.
Yeah, it's his first song.
And it
And
changed
for a lot
the game.
yeah, because for a lot of people, like, we got to see the reaction, but we didn't get to experience
Yeah.
the reaction. We got to see people go like, we can't have some Negro on our tour. He's white, Daddy. What now? Why do I sound like the guy from King of the Hill?
So many close-ups of that crotch just shaking around.
I'm surprised they didn't add like something swinging in the silk.
Oh, right.
I guess because
Really?
it's
That was-
PG, but I'm like,
Yeah, but
a
like,
lot of room there.
I could imagine that.
very
thing
roomy.
swinging, but I'm like, it does nothing for me.
Maybe it's the male gaze versus the female gaze.
Oh no, it does nothing for like I'm like I don't
Although,
really care.
Speaking of the female gaze, notice DP's female? I thought it was a great choice.
Is
Oh.
it?
Yeah, DP's
Then,
female.
then you know what? That makes a lot of sense.
You need the
Okay.
female gaze on Elvis
Yeah,
just
yeah.
to see how pretty he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a guy would make him look badass. And that's all a guy would just, like, for us guys, like, pre-war is like the rockabilly badass Elvis.
Yeah.
And then post-war, you try and add the badassness with the karate and the guns, but
Yeah.
it's not working. But you still try to represent him in that way, whereas with this one, he's just pretty.
A part of me was like looking at he's got black eye makeup. I wonder if that'll go with my 1950s dresses.
Like, the only criticism to him physically is just, he's just that skinny.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do anything about it. Even, like, I appreciate in the 68 they add a bit of cheek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs
Because
it.
he was rounder and the tan as well.
Yeah, and the 10. But then you watch the 68, it's like, no, he was bigger.
Yeah.
He was bigger.
Austin Butler be
He was a bit bigger and a bit hairier as well.
He'd be so lanky.
Like when he opened up,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
did
the
a
chest. The
sizable chest there.
There's a Vanity Fair video on the costumer.
Oh.
So you do get a sense of what, because to them it is also a question of like, do you go by realistic or go by the myth? So to them is, like, for example, a bunch of things where, like the 68, the leather suit.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a different cut for when he's walking, a different cut of the suit when he's sat down playing, a different cut for when he's standing playing.
As in, like,
to give
in
different
the
room.
movie.
Yeah. But also create the silhouette.
Yeah.
Oh.
So when he's walking, you want that V,
Yes.
you want that more
Yeah.
silhouette.
Yes.
But also stuff like it's the costumer's pet peeve. She doesn't like when you sit down and you can see the sock after the boot. So they lengthen the pants. But you watch the 68 special, the
Yeah.
pants were shorter. You could
Yeah.
see his socks.
Yeah.
So to them, it was more like when it's a choice between the realistic or the perfect, because when you're seeing it on camera, it's what you remember in your mind,
Yes.
not what actually happened.
Yes.
So
Anyway, I
retain the
mean-
perfection of Elvis's suits.
I mean, every time you remember something, you're not actually remembering the actual thing. You're remembering a memory from memory.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, so let's just
Like,
You're
if you-
remembering your interpretation of that memory.
Like if you re-look at when he was wearing the pink suit. Well, first it was in black and white, so you can't see the pink.
That kind of felt weird when they dragged the hound dog on. I was
That's
like,
just strange.
this looks weird in color.
No, did that actually happen?
It happened, yeah.
Yeah.
It
And
legit
then,
happened.
And then, like, did they actually make him wear like tails?
Yes, because at that time, whatever Elvis was doing was so fucking controversial. They had to clean cut him because he was getting very popular. They couldn't have it on TV if
But
he was
even
doing.
then, it would have been nice to have seen him trying to perform Hound Dog in that.
Yeah,
And then instead we just get the band's reaction like, what the fuck was that? We're musicians. But I would have loved to have seen the awkward
attempt,
fucking
the
like,
attempt, right?
no, and I know there's one of those band members, possibly the drummer, that was like, dude, that was the most hilarious shit I've seen.
oh, there's always one band. Yeah, you're right. It's usually the drummer.
Exactly. Fucking Ringo.
Where they're like, this is some funny shit.
Yeah, but that,
I'm
that-
not at the front. Fuck you all. Just
I can
keep
hide.
in rhythm.
I can hide behind the drums.
Well, yeah, that's where the finger started because that was actually that was where the TV thing came in, because the finger was actually for the Ed Sullivan Show, where they told him you couldn't move any part of your body,
Not even your pinky.
not even your pinky, and that's where the finger came, not from the fucking
Yeah.
trouble thing. Yeah,
But visually, it looks
it
better.
yes, of course. Which to me, again, I'm suspending my disbelief. I'll be like, okay,
Because I disagree, because there are moments just as visually good looking as that in his life anyway. You know? Like, you know, when you do it for the Doors, it makes sense. That actually happened.
yeah.
You know, he supposedly flashed his penis. Cops came and fucking took him down.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But this one is like, that bit kind of happened. That combined with this bit that happened in a different concert.
Yeah.
Combined with the song he wrote 5 years after. You know?
Suspension of disbelief. I have to. That
And
really
also
is,
that Trouble song. Like, the Trouble song does trigger my "You stole from the black man."
Again.
That's a fucking Muddy Waters riff. Like,
Yeah.
fuck off. Da-da-da-da-da-dun. Come on.
But Austin Butler singing that though. Like,
No, it's a good performance.
fuck.
It's a good performance, but, you know, is what it is.
Yeah. Go watch Elvis. It's out now
Yeah.
in cinemas.
No, yeah, definitely make your own decision on it. Because
Yeah.
at the same time, like, if anything, it's worth watching Austin Butler's performance.
Yeah, it is. Like, I would highly recommend you go watch this in the cinemas. If
Ridiculous.
you're all waiting for this to get it on
Yeah.
VOD or something, no. You need to experience this in the cinemas because
Tayar IMAX tayar.
IMAX tak payah.
tayar.
Normal screen boleh, because I think this is a spectacle that you need to feel.
You need the sound system, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
You just want to hear that mix.
Yeah,
But again, like, you know, that's one thing. Like, when it comes to a biopic, if the lead guy pulls it off, you can forgive a lot of the shit.
yeah,
You know, I forgive a lot of it simply because, look, it's a great performance. Like I was mentioning The Doors. You know, there are so many things wrong with that movie.
but Val
But
Kilmer.
Val Kilmer is fucking Jim Morrison.
No, that was Jim Morrison in the
right?
fucking film.
It's scary.
Yeah,
You're like, yeah, I'll get.
he sang himself, right, Val Kilmer?
A lot of it he sang himself, and the band learnt the instruments from the original members.
Yeah,
So there's actual footage of Ray Manzarek teaching dude from Twin Peaks how to play keyboards and all of this stuff. It's like with that one, it's more of like, I get it. If you were in the band, you'd be pissed with that movie. A lot of people that are represented in that movie are pissed with Oliver Stone.
Nah.
but I mean, this has gotten. I mean, Priscilla
like
and
that,
Lisa
so
Marie
it's gonna
have
happen.
given their stamp of approval. So like,
I'm surprised because if I was Priscilla, I'd be like, "That's all you're giving me? I'm his fucking wife."
yeah, Lisa Marie would be like, I'm his daughter, and I'm just there.
I mean, that's fine. She's just there. Like, what's she gonna say?
Most-
Dada.
Yeah, because most of her life, you know, she was how old when he
You know?
passed?
It would have been nice to see the moments when Priscilla had to deal with the fact that him and his dumbass friends were doing stupid shit in Graceland.
Like Jackass.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they literally
they're
were.
literally jackass in Graceland.
They were fucking shooting, No, they were literally shooting. Yeah, they
Yeah.
were shooting their guns in the yard. Racing and shit.
They showed a bit of it, but they made it look like it's this fun world.
No,
Yeah.
no. It was insane.
You know, I did want to see, like, come on. We all know Priscilla had to basically handle a child.
Do you know how many
As a
golf
child.
buggies they fucking wrecked? Because they would ram it at each other
They were
just
literally doing jackass. The golf buggies hit.
Yes.
Which, again,
Elvis.
like you said, they touched on in the Jonathan Rhys-Meyers movie.
Yes, they did. Elvis was the old school Johnny Knoxville. Like,
Yeah. We didn't even get to see the moment where Priscilla went, you know what? I'm going to wear my hair up.
oh yeah.
Because just suddenly one day, it's like, oh, you hiding something?
Like, she initially moved out before that. Like, not even for the divorce. She moved out because she couldn't handle the silliness that was happening in the fucking house. She was like,
I
you want
already
to do
have
this?
a child. I
You
don't
do this
need
on your own. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was our take on Elvis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let
let
us
us know
know-
in the comments what you think on all our social medias. You know, Instagram, TikTok. Can they do comments on TikTok?
Yes, they can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instagram, TikTok, Facebook,
YouTube,
YouTube.
Facebook, wherever. Yeah.
And the Ko-fi.
ko-fi.com/Geeks in Malaysia. Yeah.
But yes, this is, I think it's one of the few episodes where there's like,
So much
Serious
discourse.
debate, right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
serious.
Because usually we're just like, that was fun.
Yeah. I think because there's a lot of, I mean, my side personally,
Yeah.
there's a lot of deep-rooted passion for this thing. So I think that's where the debate has come about.
Possibly.
And you from a musician standpoint as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a musician, I was unfulfilled. As a filmmaker, I was annoyed.
As a fan,
As a human being, I enjoyed myself.
yeah.
As a human
Like-
being, you enjoyed
Yeah.
yourself.
You know what? It is a fun ride. I
Yeah.
mean, as
And
I
also,
always say,
I'll be fair as well. As a musician, like, it wasn't one of those like la 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 la. I am pretending to play the guitar.
They actually play the
No,
guitar.
you can see like, oh, they're playing.
I mean, Austin knows how to play the guitar.
Yeah.
And if you haven't, if you need more convincing to watch this film, go and find the Elvis pre-production screen test that Austin Butler
yeah.
did. Holy shit, this is even before he did all
Much
the...
skinnier and much higher voice.
Yeah.
But you can see like
But you see Elvis...
you see that clip, you're like, yeah, you're casting
Yeah.
him as Elvis.
Yeah, that no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And you know he did this over, what, 2 years? Just
Yep.
back and forth with Baz Luhrmann during the pandemic. Like, hey, yeah, like Baz was sold, but the studio wasn't, apparently. So it's a lot of convincing. I don't know how.
Yeah, because, like, you know, it's more...
Fucking Warner
I'm
Brothers.
going to keep going back to this. Yeah, because what he did before the Shannara fucking Chronicles. Horrible sci-fi.
And
Horrible
now-
fantasy show.
So you're like,
Horrible.
so the guy that made Gatsby is casting the guy from Shania Chronicles.
Who
And
plays a
Yoga
stupid
Hosers.
human half-elf magician type thingy?
Then like little guy at the CW's going like, he was also in Arrow. Shut up.
No one cares about that show.
And then I get... Maybe that's why they framed it with Tom Hanks, because they needed the star power.
No, Tom Hanks was actually announced first.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he was announced, oh, this is Tom Parker, to which everyone was like, okay, so who's Elvis? And then we found out him, and we were like,
You know what? Actually, you know what I think would have sold Colonel Parker more?
what?
If you got an actual European to do it.
You know who played Tom Parker in Jonathan Rhys Meyers' film?
Forgot.
Randy Quaid.
No, you know who I think it should be?
Mads.
Yes.
Of course.
No!
Oh, yeah. you
Mads
know,
can do-
some weight, some makeup.
No. Mads can do
And
anything.
then that's a threatening Colonel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not... Oh, fuck, actually.
You know,
No!
Mads make
Yeah,
a-
yeah,
He
yeah.
can
No,
be-
no, 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 no.
he
Yeah,
can-
yeah, yeah.
He can be charming. He can be charming AF. Have you
Yeah.
not
No, no, yes.
seen
No,
fucking
that's
Hannibal?
why. That's why I'm like, you know what?
When
Yeah,
you
yeah,
just
yeah.
have a moment of him walking into Elvis's room, he needs to play. Oh, you're
And can you
fucking
imagine?
fine.
And can you imagine that car park scene
The
when he's
car
just
park
sitting
scene,
there?
The drug scene.
Yeah.
The one where he's passed out, like just fucking inject him.
Oh fuck.
Yep.
Yeah. As I always say, this film is it's a huge fun ride, but for an Elvis fan, I don't know, that third eye always breaks me, that third eye. Knowing the real history behind it.
I think it breaks you because you know the real
Yes.
history.
Exactly,
But
yeah,
for regular
exactly.
audiences, it doesn't seem that bad.
Yeah, I know, because like, after that, Uma was like, yeah, you went over to Uma, you're all like happy, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
no, because I was like, he needs a moment.
yeah, I was sitting there fucking bawling my eyes out going,
Yeah,
Elvis
I mean,
shouldn't
I
have been
guess-
treated that way.
They're just showing a taste of it, but you know what's
You know-
under
yeah,
that, and you're
exactly.
fucking pissed.
I mean, I guess it's also the same as my reaction to Anita. When I went to watch the Anita biopic, like, I mean, okay, I mean,
enjoyed it though, right?
I enjoyed it. I felt she was a good Anita in real life, but she couldn't pull off the Anita in performance. That also did not help when they cut it. But then they would intercut her performance. She starts a performance and cut it to actually Anita performing.
Oh.
So then it's also very unfair comparison lah. But she did not have the stage presence. But yeah, moments in the Anita story when like the final few times when Coco sits down to have that conversation with their mutual friend and you go, you know what's coming, right? And then like, yeah, with all the shit that happens towards the end of both their lives and you go
Yeah.
like, oh,
You know.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not even that big a fan of Anita. Like, I mean, I know Anita, like, maybe more than Elvis. Like, I know Anita as an icon. Like, she is a mainstay. I love watching her
Yes.
movies. You know, like, I love, like, the whole friendship that she has with Leslie and, like,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing, you know? So, yeah, I get that.
I think it's something that happens with all biopics, though, because now I'm thinking about like the ending of Ray, right? Think about it, like he overcomes his addiction, and then he just ends with him winning a Grammy, like
That's
Oh,
not.
okay,
No,
we're
no, no, no,
just-
no. There's more to that story.
you know. And then the ending of
Bohemian
Doors,
Ah.
where it's just like, and then we're just gonna cut to him like, Jim, oh, he dead. Okay.
And then fucking Bohemian Rhapsody Live Aid. The end.
yeah.
Like, but also one thing I knew that's what I want to mention. They couldn't get a proper Photoshop team. Do you remember the opening sequence where the Christmas card and there was Elvis's face and it looked blurred as shit? I'm like, you couldn't have gone a better person just to superimpose Butler's face. It's not that
Actually, no.
difficult.
Have you noticed in Hollywood though, that shit happens all the
Right.
time when putting like, you know, like, oh, we need to show that so and so is a kid with this father, so we'll get a shot of Leo when he's a kid and a shot of Christopher Walken when he's a bit younger, the adult, and then we're just gonna badly Photoshop.
It
them
looks like an
together.
intern did it. Like, there are people who can do
They
so.
do this all the time. I don't know why they won't spend on a better Photoshop guy.
Right?
Just
Right.
get Boss Logic to do it for you.
I don't know why. Like, I'm like, hey, art department, come on, lah.
It's not that difficult. As a person that used to superimpose our fucking faces on posters, it's not that difficult to get
It
it
is
really
weird.
right.
It's weird
Just
how they keep
take a few
doing
hours.
that. Especially with something like Elvis. I'm like, come on, everything else, right?
And also, here's the thing: it was a fucking close-up of that Christmas card. You could tell that was a bad Photoshop. Like someone just used the smudge icon on Elvis's face and be like, "See, it looks like Austin Butler, right?" But yeah, go and watch Elvis. It's definitely a fun ride. Definitely worth your time and money to
Yeah.
go in. If you've never known much about the King, I mean, this is a good first step. And if you love the King, you will love all the music and the sequences. Let us know if you have problem with the editing too, and like, did
Hit
you
us back
feel
in
it was too
comments.
quick? Yeah, let us know.
Yeah. So with that,
Calm your tits, Baz.
Yeah. So with that, my name's Amelia Chin.
I'm Nick Dorian.
No, I'm Carl. Oh.
Keep geeking out, yo.
Thank you.